everybody, and welcome back to Press Paws, your daily dose of animal appreciation. I'm Michelle Ray Smith. I've always believed that if you surround yourself with animals, you surround yourself with love. That's why I have 3 rescue cats and 2 dogs. On this episode, you'll meet a road warrior pig, odd couple cats, and a tiny dog who's becoming a literary giant. Can you tell the difference between a bobcat and a Canadian lynx? Well, neither can they. Meet Morgan and Shalico, a pair of mismatched roommates who have become the best of buddies.
The Wildcat Sanctuary was founded in 1999. Animals that come here often have a very sad story. They've been privately owned by people that don't realize having a tiger is not a good idea. Some have been abused and neglected. Others were entertainment animals. All come here and get a home for life. Morgan, our little bobcat, was found in the Ritz-Carlton in California. And they first thought she might have been a wild bobcat that got into the hotel, and soon realized that she was probably somebody's former pet that was dropped off there. And luckily, a lot of people got involved, including actress Morgan Fairchild, who wanted to see Morgan go to a very safe and wonderful environment the rest of her life. We were contacted, and of course we said yes, and we thought it was just fitting to name her Morgan. Shalico is a much different story. Sadly, a gentleman in a college dorm room bought 2 Canada lynx kittens for him and his roommate off the internet. His father told him what he did was not appropriate, and they contacted us to place Shalico with us. So what's interesting about Morgan and Shalico is they're different species. One is a bobcat, one is a Canada lynx. But Morgan was young and really seemed to be looking for a friend and didn't really bond with humans at all. So we brought her transport crate over to Shalico's enclosure, and right away she started making a happy bobcat sound. She was going, which is a very positive sound. We released her into the habitat without a plate date, and she just jumped right into Shalico's heart and has been following in his shadow ever since. And so they make a great pair here at the sanctuary. I think that Shalico enjoys Morgan's company, but Morgan is completely infatuated with Shalico. It can always be found following him in every footstep he does. If he climbs up a perch, she goes up a perch. They snuggle in a den together, and Morgan often grooms Shalico excessively to the point he misses fur on the back of his neck. Shalico and Morgan teach us that anything is possible. The nice thing is that when you have a traumatic past or they're put in an environment that's not natural to them, they allow us to know that you can accept others, you can celebrate the life you're given, and you can enjoy where you're at. And they remind us every day how special the sanctuary is, and that we can give another home for life to another wildcat in need and companionship of their own kind, or not so their own kind if you're like Shalico and Morgan.
Spotting a Canadian lynx is easy. It's the one wearing hockey skates. Speaking of spots, a Dalmatian is a traditional mascot of a firehouse, except in Hanahan, South Carolina. Meet Jake, a pit bull as fearless as his fellow firefighters.
Jake's a people person. He can't let anybody walk in the house without wanting to greet them.
He is a Spitfire.
You come to the station and he's here all happy and bouncing around. It just automatically just brightens up your day.
Bill and Jake are inseparable. You're not going to get them apart for too long before he starts barking and whining the way he does.
The relationship between Bill and Jake started from the time he pulls him out of a burning shed. There was an immediate bond there.
I actually met Jake at a fire when he was a 3-week-old puppy.
He had burns between 50 to 75% of his entire body. We weren't really sure what the outcome was going to be, as we didn't have any contact with the owners.
What made me decide to adopt Jake was the simple fact of everything that he had been through. You know, I knew this little guy was going to need a good little loving home.
I don't even think he discussed it with his wife. It was, he's coming home with me.
I started bringing Jake around the firehouse because at the time, even though all his treatments were done, he was still on antibiotics, which had to be administered throughout the day.
It's not just the financial responsibility, but also the time that it takes to really treat these type of injuries.
And once I started bringing him, all the guys around the station just immediately took to him.
Even with all the burns, he was just so happy and so friendly. It was just nice to have him around. He's just real good for morale.
The chief and the mayor and the town administrator, he had captured a lot of their hearts. They decided to make him an honorary firefighter and the official mascot of the department.
He really makes the job a lot easier because we can go out on a real bad call and come back and he's there and he's happy to see us, and no matter what happens, he's always there.
As the Southern saying goes, he's never met a stranger.
He's been through a lot, and yet he doesn't lash out at people. He's still a very friendly dog.
And that's what makes him so special. And I think a lot of that has been attributed to what Bill has done with him.
I couldn't imagine life right now without him because he has become such a huge part of my life.
All dogs are created equal, but only a chosen few become firefighters. That's so hot. Now we're going to visit an animal sanctuary called Project Chimps. Created when animal testing was outlawed, this compound allows primates to socially interact in a natural habitat. And this will ultimately lead to a planet by apes.
My name is Allie Crumpacker, and I am the Executive Director here at Project Chimps. I have been with this organization now for a year and a half, and we're actually nearing our 5-year anniversary. The law changed, and research had to stop. But in 2015, 700 chimpanzees were living in research labs just in the United States. Project Chimps developed because there needed to be a place for them to go now that they were essentially unemployed. They couldn't stay where they were. But when you're talking about hundreds of chimpanzees, a new facility had to be created, and that's how we were formed.
My name is Kate. I'm a caregiver, and I've been working with chimpanzees for about almost 4 years. Their day-to-day diet is vegetables in the morning. They'll get greens and vegetables for lunch, and then they get a couple fruits at dinner. Jacob is extremely food motivated. He'll do anything for food, which a lot of chimps are like that. So one of the chimps' favorite snacks is peanuts. You can throw peanuts and they'll all just spend all day trying to pick them up. Peanuts are one of their favorites. Any nuts really. They can crack the shells in just 2 seconds, and a lot of them eat the shells too.
Quality is when you can give the animals choices. And the more choices that you can allow them to make on their own, the more independence they have, the more autonomy they have. They can decide to socialize with their own group. They can decide to separate into a private area. With chimps, just like with humans, you've got extroverts and introverts, and we can't necessarily decide where they want to be all day. So being able to give them the opportunity to socialize or separate is a choice that they're allowed to make. And we're giving them that opportunity to really become themselves.
Their personalities range just as much as people's personalities do. For example, Kavuli here, he's young, he's playful, he will play all day with his buddy Oscar. But then you have chimps that are maybe a little more serious, that just like to sleep all day. If you try to play with them, it's not really their thing. They're just as different as you or I.
All social living animals have a certain level of ability to speak with each other. I started learning their vocalization to get along with chimpanzees and be accepted by chimpanzees. This is basically a friendly hello.
Chimpanzees being one of our closest genetic relatives, and with the facial conformation that they have, the way that they can look you in the eye and connect to your soul, is something that you can't forget once you do it. You connect with them in such a way that is just unexplainable until you experience it.
Working with chimpanzees like I do and form social groups is addictive. My biggest joy is when I see 2, 3, 10, 15 individuals finally getting along and living in harmonious life.
The best part about working here is definitely the relationships you form with the chimps. You come in and you see the same chimps day after day, and they get to know you and you get to know them, and there's nothing like walking in the morning and getting like a chimp greeting, which is when they put their hand out to you.
Chimpanzees can live to over 50 years in captivity, so Project Chimps is going to be here for a very long time. And we want to make sure that the chimpanzees that are here thrive, that they have the best life that we can offer them, with as many choices as we can offer them. Unfortunately, we can't give them full freedom, but we can give them a lot of sense of freedom.
They're all cute and funny now, but you know they're secretly plotting something. Don't say I didn't warn you. Our next story is about the cutest little dog who's become a big, big star. Welcome to the Norberhood.
So Norbert is a 3-pound registered therapy dog. He's definitely a little dog with a big heart, and he has a mission to make people smile and spread comfort to everyone he sees. He's a mixed breed Chihuahua Cairn Terrier Lhasa Apso, so his own unique little creature. Norbert's my first dog. I wanted a dog for a long time, and I was searching and searching, and I finally found him on Pet Finder. This was in 2009. He was just a puppy, like 1 pound. He was dark brown, looked nothing like this, and I just knew when I saw him that that was going to be my dog. When Norbert was a puppy, we lived in Boston, and one day we were in this eyeglass store, and the woman saw him and said, "Wow, he would make a great therapy dog. He has such a calm temperament, especially for a puppy." So I just researched and figured it out and thought, wow, that would be amazing. You know, therapy dogs go visit people to make them happy, people that are sick or in need of some comfort. So I got him registered, and that's how it started. Our first therapy visit was kind of an unofficial visit because they didn't really have a therapy dog program, but it was at this nursing home in the town where I grew up. And we were visiting one of my family members that was there. And slowly other people saw this dog coming in, and they were like, "Oh, can we say hi? Can we say hi?" And then Norbert and I just started going back like every week to visit people. And they just loved seeing him. It was so much fun. Right now, our primary place of volunteer is at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, which has an incredible therapy dog program. There's over 100 dogs and handlers that volunteer there. In addition to Norbert's work as a therapy dog, he has a large following on social media, and we feel like that's an extension of his in-person work as a therapy dog, because he's also able to spread smiles and, you know, bring comfort to people and laughter and all of those things.
I can tell you that my wife is one of the kindest, sweetest individuals that I have ever encountered in my life. She thinks constantly about how she can help others. She is always finding ways to get Norbert in front of a child or anybody who may be facing a difficult time.
In my dream, Norby, you're a tiny little human. You brought us three together. Let's give him kisses.
Since I was a little girl, I had this dream of publishing a children's book with my mother. Her name is Dr. Virginia Fryermith, and she's an amazing fine artist and art educator. And I wanted to write the book and have her illustrate it. You know, simple childhood dream, but you know, as the years went by, I thought more and more about it, and simultaneously got Norbert, started doing volunteering, and we came together and thought, wow, this would make kind of a cool children's book if we could translate it into a story that would be fun for kids. And so we said, okay, we're gonna do it. One day I got an email from a producer on the Home and Family show, and it said, we'd like you and Norbert to come and be our guest and talk about the work you do as a registered therapy team and your books.
Norbert came on my show as the star of his own book series, and they received such attention and awards from various places that they came on and talked about what Norbert's message was.
I was just really focused on work at the time. I wasn't looking for a relationship or anything. And then Norbert and I came on, and Mark Steines was standing there. He just come onto the set and said, "Nice to meet you." And it was like, I describe it like the Orbit commercial. There was like a bling, and all of a sudden it was just this connection.
Well, Norbert certainly caught my eye first, in the sense that his presence alone, his cute factor is way off the charts. But then again, so is his mom's.
And before I knew it, I was flying back out here to go on a date with him, without Norbert this time. And that's where it all began. And then, after that date, I flew back home, sold my house, and moved to LA, like that. So this is Norbert's newest book, Norbert's Little Lessons for a Big Life. And I'm really, really excited about this publication because it's different from anything we've ever done. It's a book of photos and, as you can see, little lessons that Norbert wants people to keep in their heart every day. I think that this book also comes at a time when the world really needs it. You know, there's so many troubling things in the news, and we want people to remember that there's still things that are good and pure and happy. And Norbert appeals to people of all ages, which is one of the most remarkable things. I mean, and demographics, everyone from like biker dudes to little kids to grandparents, it's just this huge spectrum. So he brings people together, and that's a really beautiful, beautiful thing.
Norbert's videos have been viewed over 1.5 million times, and he has over 750,000 Instagram followers. Wow, that's 200,000 more than I have. Do you think I'll get more if I do this? It's worth a try. Ziggy is a 250-pound pig who travels across the country in a Winnebago. I guess you can call him a road hog.
My name is Kristen Hartness. I am Ziggy's mom.
Well, my name is Jay Yance. I guess you could call me his dad, but most times I kind of feel like his butler.
When I graduated from college, I realized I was not quite ready for the real world. So I decided that I was going to get ready for the real world by spending about 6 months down in the Virgin Islands. And I went online one day because I'd always wanted a pig. Found an ad in Florida for some teacup pigs that only got to be 20 pounds. And I said, this is perfect.
I was down in St. John working at a resort. I started dating Kristen, and she had a pig, and I figured it'd just be like having a dog. The house we're living at, it was a perfect situation, and then the owners decided to sell the house.
We left the Virgin Islands because we pretty much didn't have a choice.
It's actually really, really hard to find a place to rent when you have a 250-pound pig.
Giving up Ziggy was never an option.
We couldn't decide on a place to go, so we just figured we'd go everywhere.
Bought the motorhome so we can ride around the country, you know, as a family.
Living with a pig is crazy.
Pigs are just like having a 5-year-old kid. They show all the emotions. They're sad, they're happy, they're mad.
You know, we always say he's like a 4-year-old kid in a pig suit.
Most of the time when people see Ziggy walking around, whether we're on the Appalachian Trail or at parks or lakes or the beach, they just see him as an adorable, cute little cuddly pig. We want Ziggy to live for a very, very long time, so we try to give him nothing but organic fruits and veggies.
Unsalted peanuts are his treats of choice.
Living with the pig is wonderful. He is the most handsome, beautiful soul you've ever seen in your entire life. We want Ziggy to prosper and have the best life a little piggy can ever have.
Ziggy, Kristen, and Jay are hoping to open an animal rescue and rehab facility called Ziggy's Refuge, a 175-acre farm in North Carolina. So if you're ever in the neighborhood, drop on by and say hello. As for us, it's time to say goodbye. But for more great stories of love and inspiration, join us again for Press Paws. I'm Michelle Ray Smith. See you next time.